En el centro de la pampa vive un pimiento. Sol y viento pa' su vida, sol y viento. Sol y viento pa' su vida, sol y viento.
Hello, I am Patrick Barnard. Welcome to the 155th edition of the Pimento Report. Bienvenue à la 155e édition du Piment. We're here in the falaise Saint-Jacques, an amazing escarpment park in Montreal. It's citizens that have made this park known, that have made this park clean for that matter. Citizens have brought it to life, and more students, bird lovers, residents are coming to this place. I made some short videos yesterday. I'm going to talk to two men today who are tending the park on a Sunday morning at 10 a.m. They are Saint-Jacques and Malcolm McRae. The whole idea of the videos I've made and many other people of this place is to make the falaise known, and that is indeed happening. All sorts of people are now coming to see the enormous value of this place. Saint-Jacques of Sauvant-la-Falaise, here we are on the falaise. It's the 24th of October 2021, and I think you just finished planting something.
Yes, Patrick. A friend gave me some horse chestnuts, and I thought they're rather rare in Montreal. They could easily grow here, and they're indigenous to Montreal. So I planted 3 horse chestnuts in this area, and we'll come back in the spring and see what the result is. I'll try a few other areas. This is rather a wet area, but I'll try some other areas, and hopefully we'll have some success.
Now, I said in a little intro to this short video that I've done a lot of videos here. I believe part of the effort is getting residents, specialists, children to know about this area. It seems that Sauvant-la-Falaise is having a success at this. What do you think?
Yes, we have a good base of citizens who are dedicated to the falaise Saint-Jacques and saving it, and they've done that, and now it's a matter of integrating it into the greater part of society of NDG, and I think by word of mouth, their friends are hearing about it, and every time I'm here on the falaise Saint-Jacques, I meet a newcomer to the falaise, which is great. So there's going to be a bit of a build-up of a little bit of a wave forming of knowledge about the falaise Saint-Jacques, and also the new Bande Verte, which is next to us.
I think you're absolutely right, and I say that having done quite a lot of observation here. So there is the Bande Verte that you were just talking about, and you and I just met 2 women who have walked from the west on that kind of road. It's interesting sort of road.
Road, yes.
What was your impression of their reaction?
Well, they were a little bit bowled over by something that was so close to their homes and that they knew nothing about. And so the Bande Verte was for them coming from Montreal West was an introduction to this to seeing the falaise Saint-Jacques, and I invited them to come along the falaise Saint-Jacques trail, which they knew nothing about. So in many different ways, people are reattaching themselves to nature in the city, and this is great. This is a 21st century change in urban thinking among citizens.
Malcolm McRae of Sauvant-la-Falaise. Here we are Sunday morning, October 24. It's about 10:45 in the morning. I mean, it's beautiful here this morning. You were just telling me a story about several years ago planting something up there, which is now the Bande Verte. And would you tell me that story again?
Well, during the construction of the Turcotte Yards, this was basically a huge pile of mud, and we went down and planted some trees on it. And we had a couple of trees that were planted on the thing, and they were basically just this lonely tree on top of this pile of mud. And it's totally transformed now, as you can see. It's quite remarkable.
Sometimes we got quite discouraged, but we sometimes thought, well, what we're doing was really just keeping an idea alive, and maybe at times that's what we were doing. but every once in a while it catches fire, and we are in an era right now where these ideas are catching fire across Montreal and certainly across Europe, and it's a great sign.
It's really so very much a from the ground up citizens group, and you can see its evolution is becoming more organized, and I think that because with the Band Verte about to open, it's going to explode as a interest group, because it's an undiscovered park right near downtown Montreal.
Well, it has the potential of being transformative on a global scale, like changing the image of Montreal across the globe. Especially where we're standing right now, the falaise Saint-Jacques, the Bande Verte, and the new Parc Turcot, when they're all tied together by the Dalles Park, which is a suspended land bridge, that's sort of like the thread or the needle and thread that ties them all together, and will be a fantastic element for Montreal. And the amazing thing is that it stands on the access road coming from the international airport. So it's like a symbol for all those international travelers arriving to Montreal, that Montreal has taken a different turn and is re-civilizing their city.
Are you happy for the falaise?
Yeah, generally I am pretty happy. I think the Bande Verte, I mean, it cut into the falaise to a certain extent, but it really has added a lot as well. And once the Dalles Park is built and the Parc Turcot, it could become part of a huge ground park on the western part of Montreal.
Now, I talked to Roger this morning about the Dalles Park, which is this green bridge which will connect that side over there to the south up to here. And I know you believe it's very important. Can you tell us about that?
Well, I think it's important that there be a park on the southern side of the highway, which is the Parc Turcot, and basically the Dalles Park will connect the two together and basically make it more than twice as good.
Well, I mean, for me personally,
Do you pick up all this stuff?
no, I did it. It was actually part of another crew.
Oh, yeah? When did it start this morning, Malcolm?
At 9.
Wow, okay.
So groups are assembled and
So here you see how much has actually been picked up in this corvée, this cleanup of Sauvons-la-Falaise, a citizen's cleanup. What you see in front of you there is 194 tires that have been found in the falaise. Now, I'm not showing anybody's face here, but I'm filming the people in the background who have been, picking up here this morning. What has been the purpose of this two-day corvée, this two-day cleanup here in October?
Well, we wanted to get a pile of garbage and cleanup done just before the Bande Verte opened, and so that was. And there's only 2 times of the year that you can do cleanups in the falaise, really in the early spring and the late fall. So it seemed like an opportune moment to do a big push.
Now the Dalles Park, which as you said is a green bridge, which will connect basically the Southwest and NDG. It will go across this area. Why has it not been underway? Because it's there on the books, as it were, but it never gets done.
Very good question, and we've been kept into the dark as to why the construction hasn't begun. We've heard that engineering studies have been done, maybe preliminary budgets have been written, but we haven't seen any of that. Hopefully they're working in a dedicated way on the project, because it has the potential it will reconnect the Southwest and NDG, which have been separated by major transportation lines, one being the railroad and the other being the 2 and 20. But also, it'll be an important link that'll actually carry over to Agrignon, and from Agrignon right down to the Riverside Park. So it's a crucial element in the new network of greenways across the island of Montreal.
So fighting for nature here is fighting for a principle that's extremely important, connectivity. Is that right?
Yes, and that's actually been part of the motto of Sauvons-la-Falaise, is green connectivity as part of our logo from them. So this is an idea with Sauvons la Falaise that has been part of our thinking going on 10 years now.
Will the Bande Verte have an official opening?
Well, it has an official takeover from the MTQ construction to the City of Montreal in a few weeks.
Oh, okay. The MTQ is the Ministry of Transport of Quebec.
Yes, and they're the people who built the Bande Verte.
Yeah.
But it will become a public park in the City of Montreal.
That's quite something. Now, what is the priority, would you say, right at this moment for Sauvons la Falaise?
Priority, I think, is to get the people to know about the falaise and get a participation for events in it. And the cleanup is an ideal thing in order to do this, I think.
What about the Dalle Park, that green bridge?
Well, that becomes our advocacy group for what we want to work on in the long term. In terms of, and personally, I believe we do this by getting citizens involved in the falaise and showing the need for that.
Now, how does the falaise fit in for you with the whole drama of climate change?
Oh, I think it's an example of renewing urban spaces and being able to not neglecting them, but transforming them into something greener and better for society.
Now, I have always noticed the falaise. Of course, I've come to know it much better in the last years. I think of it as a renaturalized area. Is that how you think of it, or? Yes,
it looks like it's been like this forever, but in actual fact, it's mostly landfill, and the forest, Mother Nature has retaken over it. And so it's not like it's an old growth forest, but it's very much a modern forest. And I personally, because I'm not an expert, I'm kind of ignorant, but I love the strange look of the place. It always looks to me a bit almost tropical. It's amazing. Yes, it's when you're walking along Saint-Jacques and you see all this automotive tire shops and strip malls and stuff, and then you just step into the falaise and it's like you're in a totally different world. Thank you.
En el centro de la pampa vive un pimiento, sol y viento pa' su vida, sol y viento, sol y viento pa' su vida, sol y viento.